Hey, everybody. I am so excited for this chat today with an amazing guest who's an innovation catalyst and true thought leader in the tech world. Greg, how are you?
Evan, I'm terrific, my friend. Nice to be here.
Great to have you here in this quiet period before the storm that is 2025 begins. For those who are watching or listening who may not be familiar with you and your various ventures, maybe introduce yourself and what you're up to these days.
Yeah, sure. Happy to do it, Evan. I'm Greg. I have a portfolio of interests in technology and media. I am an active angel investor. I advise Fortune 500s and startups on emerging tech and emerging media. And then I incubate companies. So I'm co-founder of a company called AI Trailblazers, which I'm happy to share more about as we continue to chat.
Well, we have so much to chat about, so little time. So let's dive right in. Tell us about AI Trailblazers. Sounds fascinating. And, the other work you do in emerging tech, so much on your mind.
Yeah, so I'll start with AI Trailblazers. I started AI Trailblazers about a year ago with two co-founders, Shiv Singh and Amit Shah. And AI Trailblazers is an information services and events company around artificial intelligence. And we launched at CES last year with the New York Times and continue to host a number of different forums to bring together individuals that touch all parts of AI, from the technology end to the marketing end to the legal end and to the investment. And we're about to host our seventh summit tomorrow in New York City for anybody
Wow.
that is interested. We have just a few slots left for that session. But we have an all-day seminar, essentially, Evan, that will have some riveting discussions, thought leadership, covering everything related to marketing, media, and creativity around AI.
Wow. Talk about good timing. So talk about, maybe the core mission you're hoping to achieve there and who should attend? What's the big idea behind this particular event as you have so many?
Yeah, but we've known each other for a long time. I don't believe in hype cycles. In fact, I
Mm.
have a subtract called Beyond the Hype Cycle. So, we clearly are there has been an infinite amount of buzz around artificial intelligence. And really what companies are looking for today is not only, what are the opportunities for efficiency and automation, although that's important, and not only on how to use artificial intelligence for more creative vehicles, but how to grow businesses using AI. And so this summit is really centered around growth opportunities, whether that's building new products or services, whether that's identifying new target audiences, or whether it's getting current customers to perhaps purchase more, engage more. So the summit will be, a number of different formats, from training to panels to keynotes around that particular theme.
Fantastic. Well, I'll put a link in the show notes here. And you have your pulse on both the consumers as well as businesses. And we'll talk about CES, the biggest tech event in the world, coming up in January. But as far as businesses go, what's your advice for getting ready for what's coming? What's this wave that's about to hit the shore? How should they prepare? How should they keep up?
Yeah. Well, as you know, Evan, in the U.S., we are about to undergo a change in our leadership, our political leadership, and there's a lot riding on the new administration coming in as it relates to emerging technology, AI, and crypto in particular. But in order for companies to start to get ready, first is they have to um, first of all think about the partnerships that they currently have in place with the bigger tech companies, and whether they're looking to experiment with newer, more endemic companies for the industries that they're in, or extend the partnerships that they currently have, whether it be through cloud computing or cyber or otherwise. And when I mentioned that the new administration is coming in, is that it's well thought that there'll be less regulation, and there'll be more mergers and acquisitions. But what also may come is the breakup. some of the more established players. And so one piece of advice would be not to put all of their eggs in one basket, but to at least have a backup plan if there were to be a breakup of their primary technology provider. So that's number one. Second, I would say is to really to consider the short-term needs, the midterm needs, and the longer-term needs of the company. Budgets are not infinite, and it's very expensive to implement AI strategies within corporations. And so, I'm getting a lot of questions from boards and senior management teams about how to think about budgeting and how to think about planning in the short to the medium term when things are changing so rapidly. So, another key recommendation is to have a thoughtful strategy that involves a number of different constituents within the companies. I mentioned that our forums often bring in heads of strategy, heads of technology, heads of marketing, heads of legal, heads of operations to help to formulate what those strategies are. So that's a second piece. A third is that similar to mobile usage and penetration is that end consumers, which are also workers, are coming to the offices expecting to use AI on their jobs. And companies need to be ready for that. What are their rules and regulations around using AI at work? Many are using their personal email addresses for ChatGPT or Perplexity because they know that there are barriers on their work systems. But to get ready for the fact that there will be more and more workers that are kind of demanding the usage of this to simplify their tasks and perhaps to help achieve their objectives quicker. So those are a couple of things. I'd also take a look at the geopolitical environment as it relates to AI. Evan, I mentioned that with the new administration, there's so much that we don't know about yet. What's coming into the fold, whether that be tariffs that are placed on certain countries, whether that would be investment in different types of vehicles or the infrastructure that's powering AI, and also even just consumer trends, like how things may shift based on the new administration's sort of direction. And I believe that it will shift. It has started to shift in that regard. One other thing that I would encourage companies to think about is the integration of hardware and software and services. As you know, Evan, I started the Internet of Things Consortium about 10 years ago when IoT was one of the buzzwords. But this is really the period of time where hardware and software are going to come together pretty quickly. The digital devices that weren't exactly smart the last 5 or 10 years will become very smart, very intelligent, very quickly. And companies need to ready for that.
Indeed. And, these companies across the board are looking at AI, a lot of pilots and proof of concepts, but looking beyond the hype, how do you think AI is changing industries today in a practical way? And what industries do you think are, early adopters that are seeing most of the benefits, or maybe what industries are lagging and need to catch up? Do you have any, particular perspective on that?
Yeah, a lot of it is related to the regulation or lack of regulation within industries as to which are leading and which are somewhat laggards in the space. And as I mentioned, I think there will be less regulation, at least in the U.S., that being counter to what's happening in Western Europe, as an example. So some of those industries that are highly regulated, like healthcare, like finance, will likely kind of catch up pretty quickly. Now, those industries in particular already have many pilots and use cases. But I'm saying for it to reach mass penetration, they'll probably move more quickly. The creative industry was one of the leaders in this space. As a somewhat of a playground for marketers to be able to experiment with different versioning of advertising, different formats, reaching different consumers. The amount of content that needs to be produced these days by both B2B and B2C marketers is astounding. And so improves their efficacy and also their efficiency, it's something that makes sense that it would be one of the leaders in the space. But there's a lot of things happening, Evan, too, on the industrial side too, just in terms of manufacturing operations, being able to identify products that may be faulty or parts that may be faulty earlier on. I'm seeing some real applications and on that side. So suffice to say is that it's affecting almost every single industry, but some are further ahead than others. I would expect over the next year or two for commerce to catch up a little bit more on the AI side. You're seeing some of that start to play out a little bit on Black Friday and shopping, but I think there's a long way to go for retailers to adopt AI to effectively plan their supply chain and also to have a better experience for their customer base.
Yeah, customer experience is a super hot topic this year. Will only get more important. Shifting gears, talk about the work you do connecting innovators and businesses with investors. I mean, how do you see what's the word on the ground in terms of early stage investing? And there's a lot of big deals happening, but tell us, what's happening, in a practical way for seed stage companies and early stage companies. Are they finding deals? And outside of the AI bubble or hype, what's happening with investors on the ground?
Yeah, so I mentioned I'm an active angel investor, and so I'm often looking for deal flow. I would say that there's no shortage of companies to invest in, Evan, and the valuations of AI companies have been very, very frothy over the past couple of years. But the reality is that there hasn't been the volume of exits that we've all expected, and so I do think that's going to change pretty quickly. That we'll see a lot more M&A activity, which means that the funds that are returned will ultimately be invested into newer startups. But I would say that companies that have a specific vertical solution in AI are ones that I'm particularly interested in, rather than just a broader horizontal play, because I think that the bigger tech companies are going to, just given their scale and resource, are going to be able to take a lot of that market, the nuts and bolts of the infrastructure of AI. But where there is specific domain expertise needed is where startups really can succeed. Outside of the AI era, the AI sphere, I think there are other areas that are very hot from an investment standpoint: defense technology, space tech, certain aspects of climate or environmental technology, infrastructure. Real estate will become hot again. Real estate, the physical and the digital part of real estate. So those are areas that I'm kind of looking towards. I think there are always opportunities in healthcare. There will continue to be opportunities in education technology, particularly if the administration does away with the Department of Education and starts to push forward a narrative of seeking out new solutions for education. And I think that the broader media space is ripe for disruption. I mean, you've seen the rise of X over the past year or two into an incredibly influential platform. But you've got newer platforms like Blue Sky that folks are jumping onto, and I think there'll be a massive amount of disruption to the traditional players on all sides of the business, whether that's pure play publishing, or whether it's content, video content, short form or long form, or whether it's audio, or whether it's animation and gaming. I think there's a lot of opportunity for disruption in those spaces.
Well, exciting times, and that'll culminate in CES, which you're a longtime veteran of, January 7th in Las Vegas. What's on your mind as you plan your CES agenda? I'm sure you'll have some big meetings happening there, but what are you excited about, and what can folks look forward to from your point of view?
Yeah, I'm excited about robotics. I think it's been a steady progression of robotics companies over the past decade or so. But again, with AI, you're starting to see some really, really smart businesses come to the forefront. And it's often challenging to see those demonstrations live. They're on
Mm,
factory floors and the like. So CES is always a great centerpiece for that. Um, I'm really interested to see the evolution of the TV screen
mm,
as it relates specifically to AI. I think we all acknowledge that that it's actually more cumbersome than it might have been 40 years ago to find content on television. But I think the way that we think about television is going to be extremely different in the next decade or so, where it truly is personalized. It truly is a two-way mechanism, not a lean back experience, but where you can do your shopping, you can do your communicating, you can use it as a home automation device, but you can also experiment, and you can experiment with different formats, different art products, and CS is always the place where the major TV manufacturers come out with their new vision. So I'm excited about that. Um, I think it's going to be very interesting from a geopolitical side to understand what's happening at CES. China has always been a very big player at the Consumer Electronics Show. We know that there is tension between the U.S. and China, and we'll see what happens with that. But there are major implications for the types of products that American consumers will be able to purchase or invest in. So I'm interested to see how that plays out. I'm interested to see the continued growth of Middle Eastern uh, product, services, and investments. They've really become a significant player in technology over the past couple of years, and so I expect that to continue. So those are a few of the areas that I'm interested about. I am kicking off CES at Digital Hollywood, talking about
mm,
the future of content streaming and advertising, and I shared a little bit about the notion of major disruption that's going to happen to bundled services. We're already seeing it happen. We're already seeing Comcast deciding to spin off its cable networks, and
mm.
Paramount was recently sold, and so there's major disruption already happening in this space. But where there's disruption, there's opportunity. So I like to think positively, and I'm excited to see where the streamers go and the MSOs go in 2025.
Yeah, buckle up. It's going to be an amazing ride. Speaking of 2025, how can folks participate in your events, networking events, educational events, your amazing dinners? What else do you have planned, and what kind of folks should get involved?
Yeah, well, I'm all over the socials. Twitter is my handle is GK_ventures, and LinkedIn. I'm happy to share my email, Greg at gkdigitalventures.com. I would say that corporations that are looking for strategic guidance or even keynote speakers, entrepreneurs that are looking for investors, to feel free to reach out. And Evan, I'd be remiss. There's one other area in CES that I wanted to bring up that I'm keenly interested in, which is the mixed
Mm.
reality space.
Oh yeah, sure.
In particular, I've been talking a lot about how form factors are getting closer to the senses, and so whereas Apple's Vision Pro is not the success that I think we all thought, many of us thought at least, it was going to be in year one. I'm particularly interested in what Meta has been doing with its Ray-Bans, and the notion of enhancing or augmenting as opposed to replacing your experiences. And I'm very interested to see where that goes in combination with AI. The ability to be able to wear whether it's pods or whether it's glasses or whether it's a watch, and to be in a natural environment, and for that to enhance your experience wherever that is.
Yeah, I would concur. I have the Meta Ray Bans. Very happy with them. They're beautiful glasses as is, and the camera is an added bonus. And I bought my first AR glasses, and just the video viewing consumption aspect is worth the price of admission. So amazing the technology they're squeezing in glasses. I can't wait to see what the big guys come up with at Apple and elsewhere for wearable glasses. I think is going to be a huge space. Well, I can't wait to see you at CES, And everyone reach out, follow Greg on his various channels. He's up to some amazing stuff. And thanks for watching and listening.
Thank you, Evan. Look forward to seeing you in Vegas, if not before. And happy holidays to all.
Yeah, happy holidays. Thanks, everyone. Take care.